All right, another day, another repair. Got a 2018 Chevy Silverado. This is the neighbor's good kid over there, so we're gonna try and help him out. So he called. This thing's only got 65,000 miles on it, and listen to this. That don't sound good, does it? Look there. Got ourselves a water pump. Wiggling, bouncing all around. So, I'm going to show you how to change the water pump today. Well, before we get started, a little quick thing to note. This one is super evident, obviously, that it's this pulley right here. I mean, it has play in it if you push on it with your hand. But if you have a squeak or something like that and you're not 100% sure where it's coming from, you can pull the serpentine belt off, which we're about to do in this process, and then spin the pulleys by hand, which I'll do on the water pump, and then you'll hear it. You can hear it and feel it grind. All right, so to get started here, the first thing we're gonna do is move, I think they call this like an air diffuser box or something, but it's easy enough. So we're gonna go over here. We got an 8mm or a flathead on the band clamp here. We have one on the throttle body here. There are two of these PCV lines. So you actually squeeze this little tab, if I can get it. So you're gonna squeeze this and work it off the backside. And you'll see when it comes off, I did that one already, it actually can free spin on the engine, so you can just spin it out of the way. And then the mass airflow sensor here can stay plugged in. I don't know if the harness is pinned to it. It's not pinned to it at all. So we're gonna go ahead and get these band clamps off, and then we're gonna get these PCV lines off, and then we'll work this puppy out of here. All right, there you have that. So that is the two band clamps. You just work it off this side, and then I worked it off of this side. I'm setting it up here for now. Next step, we need to get this belt off. So we got a 1/2" drive ratchet input down here on this tensioner pulley. So I'm gonna go grab a ratchet, we'll put that in, drop the tension, and then pop this belt right off. All right, so once you have your 1/2" ratchet in, I don't think I can do this with one hand, but you essentially just go in the loosen direction and you'll see it gives you some slack. So we're gonna slack that up, and then I'm gonna probably pop it off the alternator side here, and then I'll loop it off of there. All right, so I'm gonna say 60,000 miles, and that is definitely our problem there. So next step is, if you're doing the water pump, we are going to drain the coolant out of it so we don't make a gigantic mess here. It looks like he's already low. He didn't report it overheating, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't maybe getting warm. Normally there's a drain cock on the bottom of the radiator. I may just reach down and pull this lower coolant hose. I haven't quite decided yet, but make sure you drain down at least a little bit of this. Otherwise it's gonna make a giant mess and pour all down the front side here, down onto your power steering pump. So I'm gonna get some of this drained out, and then we'll go on from there. Well, I'm laying underneath this thing now, and if there's a drain on this radiator, I don't see the damn thing. So plan B. All right, now for the removal part. This is actually pretty dang straightforward. So all these little holes in the pulley will line up with corresponding bolts. They're 10mm. So you're just gonna go in here and take each one of these puppies out. All right, so here you can see, got a bunch of these bolts loose now. Let me see if I can't get this out by hand. You can also see I got some coolant running out directly onto the power steering pump. So we're gonna clean that up with some compressed air, and I'll wipe it down, and then we'll just use good old friction from running it to get it dried up more down the rest of the way. So here you go. All right, with all the bolts out, you just wiggle jiggle her back, and out she comes. All right, so with the water pump out, this is actually one of the cleanest gaskets and one of the easier things to do here. So we're gonna take a nice clean paper towel-ish. I mean, I touched it, so it's not the cleanest, but you know. I'll put some paper towels in there to soak up some of that coolant that's sitting in there, but we're gonna wipe the edge here where the gasket seals. You can see there's a little bit of material if you look closely. So we're gonna douse this paper towel with brake cleaner, and then we're just gonna wipe that off and get that edge nice and clean for the new gasket. All right, with the surface clean, you're gonna install the new gasket and then the new pump. The gasket has a little beveled edge. That beveled edge goes against the engine block. So we're gonna hang this in place and then set our pump in. I'm gonna need 2 hands for this, but you know, it's not very complicated. And then we'll fish some bolts in there and we'll get them finger tight, and then I'll report back with the torque specs. All right, here we are. The new water pump is in place. So I did have some trouble with that gasket because it was bent a little bit. The little locator pin in the top I couldn't get the gasket to sit there and not walk whenever I tried to put the pump in, so I wrote it in on the pump with 3 bolts in place. You just got to be careful not to tilt it forward or they all fall out. It's kind of a pain. But once I got it in there, I'm getting ready to torque it. The torque spec is 10 Newton meters. After that, if you saw any rubbing on yours, make sure you do a coolant flush. And then, yeah, you just button everything back up and top off the coolant, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock that stuff all off camera now. If the video helped you out, hit that thumbs up button so more people see it. I will also have a water pump in the description from Amazon. If you'd like to order one from there, it really helps us out. They give us a little bit of kickback, but otherwise, thanks for watching. All right, here we are. Coolant is topped off. I'm gonna take her for a spin, but you see it's nice and quiet, back to normal. No leaks, no nothing. Things are good.